Khopri. He is a BS Engineering Electrical from BITS, Mesra, and postgraduate in project management and holds degree in law as well from Delhi University. He's actually a great specialist in energy sector, and I have known him from his days in NHPC as well as PFC. He was earlier the Director Technical of IRIDA, and after he has taken over as CMD IRIDA, and please notice the date, March 2014. And if you recall, he was at the right place, at the right position, at the right time, with the right setup in the country, and I think he's thereafter just produced magic. Please join me in welcoming the IRIDA CMD. And I would request him to share some of his most successful, intricate secrets of how some of you can build greater corporations through innovative learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Because I think not required. Honorable Deepak Gupta sir, Dr. Ashwani, Pranav Mehta sir, Mr. Piramal, Sanjeev Gupta, Sanjeev Agarwal, Dr. Garg, Dr. Bahl, Dr. Garg, and others, Dr. Malay Mukherjee sir, and other seniors and my colleagues, friends. Deepak Gupta sir will raise few questions on whether finance is available, whether prices are viable, how do you reduce costs. He said whatever panels they are buying, maybe they will replace them, they will sustain it, they will do whatever it is required to run the plant and not miss a tariff of 15, 16, 17 rupees. But somehow we were not able to finance, we only financed 4 5 projects then. I went to Gujarat then in 2011, they called me and then they asked whether that tariff of 17 rupees, they wanted that the players develop and people are sensitized that the solar is there, and that was a great idea with which it started. And the success for this is also because of 100 projects that were done for 1 megawatt each. Subsequently, when the tariffs started coming down, 12 rupees or so, then some of the bankers had the issue whether these are sustainable, whether utilities would pay this tariff. This was also in their mind when it was 14, 15 rupees also. I, having worked with PFC, and I realized this is very small revenue outgo. And I never thought anybody will go out and ask for review of these tariffs, and TPS ever opened up. So I was very confident right from the beginning that this cannot happen. Nobody will do this for smaller projects. Yes, for large projects, there could be a case, for ultra mega projects, there could be a case made out that you start reviewing something on some pretext or some reason, but not for these smaller projects. So at that time, the issue was different in financing, and bankers were not very confident of the technology at that time. These were too small projects for them. They were busy in financing thermal, hydro, large projects. Solar was a new field. They thought it is too small for them. Yes, and that is what Sanjeev's experience is also. That was till 2012. Then suddenly after 2014, when the present government came, they enhanced the target, and then everybody calculated whether we have 6,50,000 crores or such money, whether it is in the banking sector, whether financial institution fund. So again, financing came to the forefront. Yes, whether this is a challenging thing. See, there is a difference between large infrastructure projects and these solar projects, because they get completed in 1 year. Your revenue starts flowing within 1 year. In 5 years' time, by the time your thermal or hydro project is completed, here 30% of the money comes back to you. Your exposure also gets reduced. The revenue is constant. There is a great difference in. Yesterday also there was a conference where this was raised that we have forgotten ultra mega projects and those tariffs, and these tariffs again, and people's memory is short. But there is a difference in those. Those ultra mega projects took 5 years, 6 years, 7 years to build. There was a risk factor in coal, regulatory factor, policy, government policy, international coal supply. There were a lot of things that were probably missing in that, because that was a model where they said, yes, it is based on lowest price that is given for 25 years. Now, if you have the same thing in solar where the fuel is assured and only the money part is left, which makes it things viable, or maybe little, it can put little strain. So it is much easier, taking a risk on solar projects. And coming back to 2.44 is the present tariff. Whether first I will tell you whether the funding is available. Now, from 6.6 lakh 50,000 crore or whatever is the figure, that was at 6 crore, 7 crore was the project cost, 8 crore was the project cost. Now it has come down to 3 crores. 3 to 4. It is so. I had spoken to the developer. I said they have bid on a particular specific thing. Solar parks have been a great help. Like in the Reva project, that is my good point. Then the second thing was that development of green bond market. It has taken it in a big way, sir. It was $40 billion 2 years back. It is expected to grow to $200 billion this year. So a lot of funds can be arranged from bond market, and a lot of companies are going to the bond market, getting the funds. When they came for green bond, they said you come to London Stock Exchange and raise your money. The rates were higher. Today, the last bond that was raised was at 7.2%. So they can lend at 9.2, 9.5% bankers can lend, those who raise it. So I think whether the companies should raise bonds, because it depends. If your lending rate is higher and the bond rates are, then it makes sense to go for the bond market. For the companies, otherwise it is better that bankers or whoever higher rating go to the bond market, lend you almost at the same rate. So that is on the whether the funds are available, sir. On viability of tariff, one is whether 4.32 are getting commissions, sir. Projects that were bid at 4.32. Those who bid at 3.3, they have already tied up funds. That is what I am told. 2.4, of course, it is I don't want to discuss how they have bid at this rate. I have discussed with them. I am very clear how they have bid at it. We will see how it works out. Somewhere some experts have said that the prices could still come down further before going up. So that is the scenario where we are. So financing could be, bankers, some of them may not feel comfortable. It's a question of you get a spreadsheet, this is the cost of modules, this is the cost of other structures, and so it is very clear how you fund it, and there is no magic in it. You know it upfront, and the only this thing that is left is on quality of modules. Maybe, something can open up, something can degrade further. So those guidelines, I think, will be issued. Some stringent thing should happen. They should not be buying very, but I feel the developers who have quoted at those prices are all experienced developers. They would be taking care on those aspects. Then coming to Mr. Sanjeev's thing that we had not funded rooftop. His colleague, Mr. Gurvinder, whom I knew in PFC, he came to me that we have a rooftop project, and I said we will fund it. And you submitted application. I just want to share this. And we said, okay, we will do it. Our team went, and somehow I missed out on following it up. After 6 months, I called him. I said, "What happened to your project?" He said, "We have arranged financing for Reliance." He did not tell me anything else. So I said, probably our people had taken too much time or what. Then what happened? After a long time, we got application from another company for 10 megawatt. I thought we will be funding it. We got it. We sanctioned the loan very fast, and then it got stuck in disbursement, execution of documents and things. And then he got a prize also for the largest rooftop projects. He was awarded by MNRE. And then he said, "Mr. Oakley, अब तो हमने commission भी कर दिया, award भी दे दिया आपने, पैसे तो दे दो." So I said, "Sir, करो हमने, do it." I am not naming the company. And then after 1 month or 1.5 months, I told my people to do it. Then after 1 month, 1.5 months, he sent me a WhatsApp. There is a dialogue from Sunny Deol, "Tarikh pe tarikh, tarikh pe tarikh." Then I said that I will personally look into it. Then I discussed with my legal people, and what had happened was, you have standard terms and conditions. In that it was on mortgage, they had not removed. So rooftop had to be on hypothecation, then I had to go to the board, change my policy on rooftop projects. And then I said, now it is very simple. So now it will be much simpler. It took some time to diagnose what was the problem, and people had not approached because they found that they are not doing it. And they will take too much time, the procedures are longer. So it is a learning. We also try to reduce, learn things and then simplify. Had I been doing it myself, I would have done it. But unfortunately, I was not doing it. So I did not realize where the problem was, and it took me so long to do this, but I am sure this will not be there. So this is where we are. If there are, and of course, innovative financing we are doing, and see, once you know the revenue stream is constant, you know that this is the revenue stream, and there are no risks involved except for the quality part, then it is very, very easy to do a lot of permutations and combinations, and that you can call it innovation. You can call it whatever name you want, structuring you can do. So all those things are now prevalent. You take short-term loan, you take letter of comfort, you go to suppliers trade. All those things are helping in reducing the interest rate by 150 basis points. So this is where I would like to stop.
Thank you very much.
Maybe the rooftop people should go, but it's about money.
Next speaker that I want to invite is, of course, the chief guest of the day, Dr. Ashwini Kumar, MD of Solar Energy Corporation. He's called doctor because he did his PhD directly in this subject, solar energy. And that too from IIT Delhi. He has been a major contributor to the promotion and development of solar industry, and especially the thermal technology in India, and has been working with MNRE for almost 3 decades, and joined SECI, which was earlier called NECI, if I am not wrong, Renewable Energy Corporation of India, and now yes. So I think that round of applause will cover up for what I have not been able to say.
But he should be called doctor not because of his PhD in IIT Delhi. Those PhDs have their own.
That is.
PhD he has earned in SECI.
Wow. Please, sir.
Sir, Mr. Gupta, our Honorable Secretary, Mr. Mehta, Mr. Popli, all dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be here. In fact, it can't happen that if Secretary Sir is here and you don't relate it to the time when, that I would say that history was in making. So, in fact, 2 things, sir. When he was Secretary MNRE, I think who are familiar with the ministry, they would recall that we used to have about 600 crore as the annual budget, and the total expenditure was about 200 crores. And this was the point of main worry, that what is happening, why nothing is happening. And I think we used to call, sir, the secretary, sir, as a I would say district magistrates. He would have strict monitoring. He started doing that, and I think we reached, 590 or that crore figure, the total expenditure. That was really very great achievement at that time. And looking back for the ministry since then, and the ministry is also evolving, budget is getting more and more demand, more consumption and everything. So that was one thing. Second thing, of course, was the National Solar Mission itself. And again, I would like to relate, it was ministry who brought out, I would say, the first grid-connected demonstration project. After that, the Gujarat policy came in. And when the first phase of mission was done and projects were allocated, and the Honorable Prime Minister, who was the Chief Minister of Gujarat at that time, we got several complaint letters in the Planning Commission that Centre is not allocating any project to Gujarat, and why all the projects are going to outside Gujarat. So that was a difficult time. Of course, we explained that it's a bidding process, and it depends on the choice of the bidders what they prefer, and I think that's satisfied probably. It appears that, and after that.
I think the real reason was that Gujarat wanted to have its own mission.
Yes.
They want to be part of National Solar Mission at that time.
So this is how it unfolded, and I again like to relate one thing, as he also just pointed out, that during those phases it was really a challenge that how do you get financing, and the timelines of the projects were from the beginning, that very stringent, 12 months, 13 months or 14 months kind of thing, and we are expecting financial closure and everything, setting a project, and there are provisions of delays, penalties, liquidated damages and everything. Then, but under his guidance, the ministry took very proactive role at that time also, that, talking to bankers, organizing training programs for them, even World Bank and all the multilateral banks, they also pitched in, getting experts from abroad, like NREL and all, having specialized workshops, telling them, no, technology works, it has been working outside, so there is no reason that it won't contribute to it. And today, I think, is everybody's dream, at least for the people like us who have started career in solar, that time, of the renewable energy or solar energy, or to be more specific, solar photovoltaics. Never thought that solar photovoltaic can be a source of megawatt or gigawatt, capacity generation of power. Never, The first phase, if you recall, it was that 5 megawatt each solar photovoltaic, and solar thermal you can go any capacity, so even 100 megawatt kind of project can be sanctioned. So that was the time. This is how you went ahead, technology agnostic, but still giving that kind of a scales. But today the world has changed, and definitely it's a happy situation. Coming to on financing, I would like to start on a very very light note, that nowadays, because the solar tariffs are falling, and when there is a bid and the developer goes to banker, he asks him several questions. So the saying is, he says, okay, wait for next bid. I'll come at that time, and when next bid tariffs are lower, bankers say, okay, these rates are very good, you come and we will consider you seriously. So that
So as a strategy, next bid, people should bid 260. So there will be some reversal of the trend.
But we wanted to continue.
Strategically, people should bid.
So that's the thing. But now as SECI, we are on the other side of table. We are trying to create the market, the policy framework, and for me, the real reason of financing, as far as concerned to availability of funds, I would assume that is still there. The reason is, when we did this last bid, Birla bid, 750 megawatts was the total capacity on bid. I got 11 times bids, and everybody is, shoulder to shoulder want to have the project. So it means they have the comfort that money is there, they'll get it at the, I would say, the terms which they want to have for the project. So I think of course that issue is being addressed through various, masala bonds or the green bonds or various other features. So that thing is happening parallelly. But from my perspective, I would say fund is there. So what is the problem in financing? In my opinion, the off-taker risk that has been incurred, and I think that's very important, that off-taker or because, and in fact, that has been the reason from the day one in National Solar Mission that you have introduced earlier the NTPC Vyapar Nigam, then you have created SECI, and of course NTPC also has been doing bits like that. So you are trying to have, mask that risk, whatever the distribution company payout risk is there, you want to cover that by having such intermediary government agencies where you can say that, okay, they are absorbing that risk. So that's the mechanism. In fact, this REWA bit has been much talked about, though I personally feel that before that also the projects were getting, in my opinion, I would say good rate. It's not that only the, at that time, the provision that helped in reducing the bids, the international market prices of the modules and so many other things also happening. In fact, what is happening, if you see the entire sector, what we say that India now, we were talking about his project, Adani's project, 648 megawatt in Tamil Nadu. Though it's largest, but still, if you ask him what is the total time in construction, that would also be a world record kind of thing. So this is the kind of speed in which India is moving. So that means we have sufficient grown up, I would say, ecosystem that now there are people who know how to set up the project, how to design the project, how to do the engineering, and how to, do all the things. So that kind of ecosystem has come in place, and we ourselves wonder sometimes our tender time construction is 12 months, 13 months. In 13 months, you are asking, all the developers that you first find out the land also if it is not a solar park. Solar park is still better. Then do the financial closing in 6 months or 7 months. Then construct the project, construct the evacuation line also if there is anything, commission it, and if you don't do it, I'll punish you with the very stringent measures, I would say, of the penalties, and that, though I am on the side of enforcement of such measures, but I still feel that probably that has to be relooked, and because you can't put anybody's project in just danger, that suppose because of any of his issues that he is not able to meet those deadlines, you should not be, what the government is giving, you are giving a policy framework, you are giving a kind of environment that he can, and PPAs, of course, you are organizing PPAs with the distribution companies. Otherwise, the entire money is spent by the developers. He is taking all the risk of setting up that, and as Mr. Jayant has come very candidly convincing the financiers that, okay, that makes sense, and the project should be financed. So those kind of things happening. So I think India, the bids from more than 10 countries, other outside countries, they also participated. It means that's a clear reflection that others are looking India as a, I would say, great destination for investment. So funds are coming in, and in fact, one of the bids will indeed won by 262. One is by a South African company, but we don't know much about the company, but I think still they are the lowest, but in others the Indian companies are there, so that part is happening. So one more point I would like to, we talked about the VGF or subsidy also, and in the context of rooftop also we talked about subsidy. But being in the government, and sir, in your project, I would like to say that subsidy is not the answer for anything. Rather, it constrains the market. And wherever, as an implementer, I have seen, if I have the VGF, necessarily, because of the requirement of policy and being a public fund, I need to have so many compliances from the developers. Sometimes they are really irritated from us. Why SECI is asking so much? But I can't do anything else. I need to, because it's a public money and tomorrow, otherwise I can be put in jail. Or they say that you have not guarded the public money. So because of that, I think it's a difficult thing. It's better if subsidy goes off, and if fortunately that has happened, I would say, in case of the ground-mounted project. Now, though there is a VGF scheme, but no VGF is there. Nobody is asking for the VGF. In fact, now there is a discussion in the ministry, but still, how this solar, demand for solar power has to be maintained, I would say. Earlier it was VGF kind of thing. The states were feeling that some funds are coming from the central government. Why not to, utilize the opportunity to set up the projects and that will benefit you or something. Now the states say no, VGF is not there. So it's a simple tariff splitting kind of thing. So ministry, I think, is working on some mechanism that the states can be given some kind of, I would say, incentive or something for meeting solar RTOs or incremental solar RTO per year. So those kind of decisions are, I think, will come in policy. So that's one thing. I noted down some of the things. As sir says, I am also not a finance expert, but maybe some of the points we jotted down earlier, and that still makes sense, that we know that RBI has considered the renewable energy as a part of priority sector lending, and rupees 15 crore was for the RE projects for individual up to 10 lakhs. So that was the kind of thing. But we still feel that if banks, I think some banks probably have done, they can earmark some percentage out of this priority sector fund for RE sector. So I think that will show visibility that so much funds are available. Then another issue has been, RE sector has come a long way, as we have talked about wind sector also. In wind also we did bidding and the rates are discovered quite less, and I think that's, I would say, RE sector is evolving, getting much more maturity, I would say. So, but still the banks are reluctant in lending to RE projects, that's a fact, but because of that they add a risk premium over and above the base rate. So I think that has to be attacked, that why can't the RE project be funded at base rate instead of adding that, maybe Mr. Kobley won't like it, but and then they are giving it NCR. Okay. So then, of course, I know IREDA has already done it, but increase the repayment tenure. That, of course, now they say that 80% of the total PPA period you can increase the repayment tenure period, but I think that if that happens, so I think that's going to play a major role. Another, people talk about the flexible repayment option. Basically, if you talk about entire, all the renewable energy spectrum and hydro projects, they give you more revenue during rainy season. Wind projects, they give you revenue in certain seasons. Solar, of course, remains for the year. So, can you adjust that repayment period accordingly, that during those periods you get more, during other periods you get less, or something, so that kind of option can be done? Surabhi from World Bank is sitting here, but we are working with World Bank on one, what you call it, unfunded payment security mechanism. As a part of all, SECI bids, SECI, Government of India gives you some funds from the, Consolidated Fund of India to create payment security mechanism. In fact, that's one of the important things which adds to, the comfort of financiers. But in addition to that, even SECI Power Serve is now covered under that TPA, tripartite agreement, which was earlier done with NTPC CIL only. Now SECI bids are also covered in that. In addition to that, where the projects are not supported through VGF or through those kind of support, then there is a concept that you can create some kind of unfunded payment security mechanism, where as a developer you would be charged. It's a kind of would work basically like a insurance. So basically, as a project developer, you may decide that whether you want to go for this kind of facility. If you decide, then maybe some paisa, which is estimated to be ranging 3-4 paisa kind of per unit, that you have to commit that I'll be, contributing to that arrangement, and then whatever is your, payment period. Suppose you don't get that payment, you can directly go to that entity which will be maintaining this facility, that you present your bill, you will be paid that. And back to back, that entity will have arrangement with the DISCOM and that infrastructure, that how do they recover. Otherwise, that will be covered by World Bank under IBRD or something. So that kind of arrangement is also being done. I think the real issue, what have been discussed on earlier occasions also, that the major role for the World Bank or the multilateral or various bilateral agencies is to how to leverage more and more the public investment. And I think instead of direct funding, the creating such kind of tools, that makes a lot of sense, and that has to come. But financing, I say that is happening, and I would like to say one thing on the, though I know all you are conversant with that, but still the India's INDC's commitment is, 33 to 35% is the reduction in emission intensity, and besides that, you have said that 40% power from non-fossil fuels. So that's a great challenge, because if you work out today's ratio, that's about 33%, in which you put the entire hydro, RE and nuclear, then it becomes 33%. And if I club that with the envisaged, I would say the total consumption, increase in total consumption by 2030, which could be from now 1100 billion units to maybe 2000 billion units, then you would notice that RE is the only answer. So RE is going to be not stopped at 100 gigawatt or 175 gigawatt, is going to be much more than that, sir. We need to achieve the higher basis. So it means we need to find these solutions. This topic becomes of much more necessity, that this has to be done. And market is doing its bit, but as a solutions we need to find out. With that, I would like to thank NSFEI to give me opportunity to be here, to be amongst you. Whatever solutions you find, I think is definitely working on those. Thank you very much.